Yo, what's good everybody? What's good YouTube? It's your boy Johnny Finesse. Welcome back to the channel. We got 1090 Jake talking about Tory Lanez attacked by prisoner who killed his underage girlfriend with a shotgun. What the hell? If you're new to the channel and haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. We got a new sub. Thank you to everybody that has subbed. I really appreciate that, man. It goes a long way. It goes a long way. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, y'all. You posting videos and content every day. If it's not a video, it's a short. If it's not a short, it's a video. It could be both on the same day, so make sure you hit that sub button, man. With that being said, let's get into it.
Man, what's up, everybody? It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna be speaking on Tory Lanez getting stabbed inside a prison and the man who did it. May 12th, 2025. Located north of Los Angeles lies the California Correctional Institution.
That looks like the Pentagon.
In Tehachapi, California. In 2000,
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Going to jail in California is like a death sentence if you don't know anybody, bro. That's how everybody be perceiving it, because all the gangs in that shit, bro. That's crazy.
The prison closed its minimum custody facility, meaning it's 20.
But I ain't gonna lie. When Tory Lanez said he got God on his side, this is what he meant. He got stabbed 14 times. He was supposed to die. I ain't gonna lie, he was supposed to die. And then after this whole situation, everything starts to unfold. The bodyguard is like, alright, I left out information. Everybody's like, nah. It just turned everything around to the point where it's like, oh.
Or level 4. These are the most dangerous levels in California State Prison, where race, gangs, and strict politics.
Level 3 and level 4.
With deadly consequence. The only step above this would be the maximum security inmates housed within the security housing.
Damn. Cinder block.
A disciplinary confinement reserved for the prison's most violent, whose only escape from a cell is a human dog cage. It was 7:20 in the morning when 32-year-old
Damn, they treating niggas like dogs.
who's more commonly known as the rapper Tory Lanez, was violently attacked. TMZ would originally report multiple sources, including a corrections officer, claimed Tory was on the prison yard, but an updated report from a representative of the California Department of Corrections would clarify Tory was attacked within a housing unit.
Oh.
Prison staff rushed into the unit administering first aid, while quickly determining Tory suffered life-threatening injuries, forcing them to call 911. Video would emerge of who's believed to be Tory Lanez landing in a life flight helicopter.
How do they know that's Tory though?
Center in Bakersfield, California, an hour-long drive from the prison. With that distance, a helicopter was the only form of transportation able to move him fast enough to save his life. A message to
That's
Tory
God, bro.
Lanez's Instagram account would state he'd been stabbed
14 times.
7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and
Both of his lungs collapsed, bro.
Both of his lungs collapsed, and he had to be placed on a breathing apparatus. Luckily, Tory was breathing on his own.
That's God, bro. That's God.
Talking normally, in good spirits, and deeply thankful to God that he is pulling through. He also wanted to thank everyone for their continued prayers and support. Based on his wounds, it can be assumed that Tory was attacked from behind, as the majority of his wounds struck his back and behind his head. Initially, no word was released as to who did it, leaving room for speculation. Because this took place in
That's an L hitman though. They said I stabbed him 14 times. He's still here. Damn, I ain't shit. But nah, that's bad though.
California.
Thank God though. He shouldn't even be in jail. Like, that's the worst part about it. He shouldn't even be in jail in the first place.
But that isn't the case here. Compton rapper Spider Loeb would post a conversation with a current inmate at Tehachapi. The man would claim Tory was on a tier full of Mexicans when a Mexican stabbed Tory. He confirmed Tory had to be airlifted from the prison, and the prison was placed on lockdown. He'd also confirmed, as soon as the lockdown is lifted, the blacks will be seeking revenge on the Mexicans.
Oh, they created war.
What's cracking?
What it do, Fod?
Shit, nothing much to look, right? This morning, brother, the Mex came out and bust on the boy Tory. You know, they airlifted him and all that, so you know how that's gonna respond when we come off this shit. We gonna respond the right way to that.
They laid the yard down.
No, it happened in the building.
What was it over? It was over some. What he had did he have a debt, a gambling debt or something?
Excuse the noise in the background.
Nah, nothing like that.
Please.
Yeah, we don't even know the whole situation, you know.
So it was just like some foul play. So it's gonna be up.
Yeah, it is. For sure, it's a foul play.
Damn, cuz. Wasn't nobody right there with him when it happened? Wasn't nobody right there with him when it went down?
Yeah, I guess nobody wasn't. He was by himself out there. He got a whole tier full of nuts. He on a whole tier full of nuts.
Wow.
But you already know, once we get off this shit, we press play.
That's crazy. Like, why they put him in that situation like that, bro?
He has a known reputation for being SNY, otherwise known as a special needs yard. These yards are known to house gang dropouts, snitches, sex offenders, and anyone else whose life is threatened by being in general population. But California has also recently implemented 50-50 yards, half general population, half SNY, to integrate the two prison societies. This goes against
They be trying to kill people and stuff.
gang politics,
Yeah.
mainly for the Mexicans and whites who are allegedly forced to attack any rival or SNY inmate to essentially remove themselves from the yard until they are placed back in general population amongst the quote-unquote honorable convicts. While general population is deadly, it's controlled chaos, and SNY yards can be just as dangerous, if not worse, as the gang politics that keep things in line go out the window and violence becomes rampant. It's
that's make no sense, bro.
In fact, SNY, as that comes with its own bad reputation within prison, but it's likely Tory was placed on a 50-50 yard, and his politics didn't require him to remove himself. Now, Tory's attacker would be identified as 42-year-old Santino Casio,
They got him.
a man with a dark violent history. On June 8th, 2022,
He don't give a fuck.
20-year-old Santino, who went by the name Sonny, was heard arguing with his 13-year-old girlfriend. Minutes later,
13-year-old
he shot
girlfriend.
him with a shotgun. Santino would go on the run for 2 weeks before being arrested. His own family would testify against him in court, how they heard the argument before the blast.
Damn.
The would testify the barrel must have been 4 inches away from the girl's face before it went off. An interview from the day he was arrested would be played at trial where Santino admitted to having a relationship with the 13-year-old girl for a month before the shooting.
That is crazy, bro.
The girl was a runaway, while Santino
That is crazy,
was
bro.
on parole from the California Youth Authority for burglary.
Youth Authority? That means he was young too? What the fuck?
Sentenced to life in prison for murdering 13-year-old Evelyn Candejas and 2 other attempted murders from 2 separate stabbings. While in
Shit.
prison, he'd be sentenced to an additional 6 years for a prison stabbing on another inmate, and in 2018, he was sentenced to an additional 2 years for possessing a knife in prison.
So he's just a hitman in jail. People use him as a hitman in jail. He got life in prison, so there's no point. He could do as much violent things as he want in jail because it don't matter. It's life in jail. You putting them years on for what? For what? You gonna leave my dead body in prison for that long before you put me in the grave? If I get to the grave, you know what I'm saying?
Santino Casio was as dangerous as they come, but his
The
conviction
hitman.
for murdering a 13-year-old girl he'd been dating confirms he was definitely an SNY inmate, as he'd never be allowed to walk in general population without being stabbed or killed. Why he chose to attack Tory Lanez is unknown. Many question if Tory was targeted because of his own conviction for allegedly shooting his former friend Meg the Stallion. The fact that he had a female victim, many would assume would be reason enough for him to be hit. But Santino's case is far worse than Tory's could ever be portrayed, and offers no motive as to why this happened. Tory Lanez is expected to survive, and it can also be expected that Santino be placed in the shoe and receive additional time in prison for this attack. But
Like he got life in prison. What more?
someone who's was already serving a lifetime.
Like, it's no point. It's no point.
Once on top of the
It's no point, being.
Now surrounded by killers with nothing to lose because of a stupid decision that changed the entire course of his life. Tory is lucky to have survived this.
Yeah, he's lucky.
Hopefully, remains lucky enough to survive the remaining years of his 10-year prison sentence. Now, when Tory was sentenced to prison, everybody assumed one of two things. One is his money and celebrity status is going to keep him safe. And
nah,
two,
it's not.
because he has a female victim, he could be targeted. I don't know if either one played a role in this, but the fact that Tory was damn near killed, right? Because prisons don't call in a helicopter for nothing. They don't have medical units within the prison. Like, if it's superficial, they'll fix you. The fact that he had to be airlifted, his lungs collapsed, Tory almost got killed.
Yeah, he dead almost got killed.
This was a serious stabbing. Anytime a helicopter lands, it's serious. The fact that he survived this, and the fact that he was hit up in the first place,
that's God, bro.
How real prison is.
That's God, bro.
Celebrity status is not going to protect you. If you're accessible, it can happen to you. The fact that Tory was on an SNY yacht, from my understanding, doesn't mean he necessarily went PC for protective custody. From my understanding, the black race in California State Prison doesn't have to remove themselves from SNY yards because their politics don't do that. The whites and the Mexicans will not stay on a 50-50 yard. It's required that they remove themselves. The reason they do that is so they don't run into pieces of shit like Santino Casio, a man that murdered a 13-year-old girl that he was dating.
That shit is so crazy. How you get that mad?
They don't want him there.
What did she do to make him that mad, bro?
But if they get placed into a dorm or a unit where they're surrounded by weird fucks like that guy, they gotta pop on somebody to remove themselves. The reality is, if Tory was never at that spot around that guy, this would have never happened. And that's the thing about general population. Even though it's so strict, it's controlled chaos. That's why when Spider Loc was questioning his boy inside of the prison, he was asking, was it a gambling debt or something? Did Tory do something? What would cause someone of another race to attack him? Because under controlled politics, that doesn't happen like that. But in this situation, with SNY inmates, there's no rules and everything is off limits, resulting in Tory Lanez damn near being killed. But let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comments section. Again, Tory is like 5'1", and from what I understand, he's
5'1".
a regular inmate. The celebrity status doesn't hold that much weight to people that don't really give a fuck. You know, you got a lot of people in there that's never coming home. They don't care about the celebrity shit because they don't ever get the chance to experience it. This is prison. This is the reality of prison. And this could be your reality if you make a decision that lands you there. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, y'all rocking with me. Until next.
Fire. Shout out 1090 Jake, man. Hey, if you made it to the end of the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. We on the road to 1,300 subs, man. We getting subs every day, so make sure you just hit that subscribe button, man.